Hello. It's been a long time. A couple years, I think. I just noticed that I need to put my seatbelt on. I just watched a video of Matt from Demolition Ranch, and he's gonna be quitting YouTube in a couple months, kind of winding things down and gonna focus on his family, and that's really awesome. Pretty awesome channel, Demolition Ranch, Off the Ranch, Vet Ranch. I started watching him when it was still pretty small. He was definitely doing the gun stuff by then, but actually I teared up, and it's funny because you don't know these people. You don't know me. You don't know me. And they definitely don't know us, or I don't know you. The people, the channel creators don't know their fans. I mean, and obviously people can meet them and get to know them and all that, but I mean, just a watching level. And but yeah, I teared up, and I think Matt's a pretty awesome guy. I wasn't real into all the major changes that came quite a few years ago, and just you watch certain things and you get your fill of them, and that's not a bad thing. You just, all right, well, that's enough. I was really into prepping for a very long time. I'm not stopping doing it, and in a way, you come to a point, it's like, well, this is enough. But it's not, it's just like, okay, I have enough of that, or I've had enough of that, or same thing with bushcraft, and I still want to do that when I have time. But as far as watching stuff, there's really nothing new. Kind of a lot of repeat things, and maybe this is all coming with the territory of things being online. Is eventually everything's kind of covered, and a lot of things are very repetitive. But I started thinking about that a little bit. Why was it? Because he's, I never talked to him. He never talks to me. I don't even think I've ever commented or got a reply directly to or from him. But I was still like, there's this sadness there, and then I thought, well, why is that sadness there? He's going to spend time with his family, and I'd hardly even watch anymore. But then I was thinking about it's really goodbyes that I don't like. I don't like goodbyes. If something's okay, I don't like change. I don't like change. I remember, of course, a lot of the channels I watch will be prepping oriented, news oriented, bushcraft, camping, military, Bible studies, comedy, different stuff like that. But remember, there's a guy, and I can't remember his name. There's an older guy, I think he was in the Iraq War or something, had some brain damage, or brain trauma from as a you could just tell some people are really good people, really kind people, and so he started having issues with his cognitive abilities. Started having issues with his brain, and he just kind of stepped back from YouTube. Him and Patriot Nurse were, if you know that channel, I think they were kind of a thing for a little bit, and at least they did some videos together, and I think there was some definite what do you call it, some definite chemicals, I don't remember what it is. Anyway, I've watched Southern Prepper 1. I remember way back in the day, and I say way back in the day like it's 30 years ago, but it's probably like 12 years ago or 14 years ago or 15 years ago, and he was doing some WROL or post-collapse videos where he would act the part and kind of teach through acting, and it was really cool and interesting, and you know, and then looking up now, he's older, you know, and I'm older too. You know, you see people, you think, man, they're getting old, and you're like, wait, that means I'm getting old. I see these kids that are used to well, they used to be kids, and now they're getting married and having families, and they're having kids, and then I see their kids at the same age that I remember them being, and you realize the cycle is very real and happening, and YouTube has been a pastime for me as far as, you know, I don't watch TV. We hadn't had cable, and I mean, we had it the first year we were married, and that was it, and so in 15 years we haven't had cable, and it's just a bunch of garbage. You spend all your time looking for channels, but YouTube's been a pastime, and you can actually look up things you want to watch, and there's endless content, and so I've had my channel. I think prepping was important, you know, to some degree, you know, everybody, and then camping, I enjoy that stuff, so and then I've done some Bible study videos, which I'm probably making a channel separate, solely to be for that. That's in the works. But you know, I'm thinking about Southern Prepper 1, thinking about Demolition Ranch. There's The Immortal, if you ever seen him. Kind of a smaller channel, but really nice guy, seems very logical. He put up some tactical videos, put up some prepping videos, some philosophical videos, and then at one point he's like, I'm done, and I've done everything I need to, and I think that I should. So, and then he was off, but I was thinking about I don't like goodbyes. I remember in school, somebody wouldn't show up, and the 20 or so kids in the class, you know, if somebody's gone, it's just something was off, something was different, and I hated the last day of school, because even if I'm going to hang out with my friends, there's just an atmosphere of saying goodbye. And I remember even staying after school, and some days, you know, we had like the junior and senior monument that people would go and hang out at, and I'd sit on that late in the evening, sun's going down, and the campus is empty, and it was such an emptiness and a nostalgic emptiness, and I don't like letting go, and maybe some of this, I lost my dad a little over a year ago, and I don't like goodbyes, and the main part of that is I love people. I've always loved people, and I've always loved even the people that had problems with me in school. If somebody picks on you, or maybe they're too arrogant to be your friend, or whatever it may be, I've even loved those people, and have compassion for people, and the goodbye, to some degree, is you lose that connection, or the knowledge of hope of them becoming better, or being okay, or but things change, and people move on, and people die. I ran across a channel just randomly several months ago. This guy, YouTuber, I don't even know what kind of a channel he ran, but and his video was him. He was very sickly. You could tell that his body was going, and he wasn't ready to go, but they had given him months, and it was getting close. People go. There's a process. The cycle is going. Change happens. Change always happens. I remember a couple years back, I went up to Washington State, where I grew up, and I was raised on 30 acres of old growth forest, and there's an old barn back there. Behind our property was a bunch of trails. Great childhood, great place to grow up. And but I went back to my childhood home, and all the forest had been dozed. And all my buddies, the whole neighborhood, would come out there and hang out. We'd go camping, build tree forts, play hide and seek, all kinds of stuff. And but it was all dozed, and that what's still there is just a memory. And I think there's something in us that longs for the eternal, that I don't want this to change. This good part, this good thing, I don't want it to change. And I don't want to say goodbye. I had a friend of mine pass a couple years ago as well, from Scotland, and he told me about the poet laureate, I think, and looking him up later, he was considered Scotland's worst poet, and but my friend George would quote him as if he was a great poet, and he would say, like, one of his poems was, two wee birds sat in a burrow. One was a spug and one was a sparrow. And I guess a spug and a sparrow are the same thing. But and then he would say, in yonder meadow stood a coo. He's not there now. He must have shifted. So in yonder meadow stood a cow. He's not there now. He must have shifted. And that's the poem. It was there. It's not. He must have shifted. But he always quoted that one. And after he passed, I just thought, in yonder meadow stood a Scotsman. He's not there now. He must have shifted. So my friend is shifted. He's gone on. I am a pastor. I wish I could condense so many of the blessings of the knowledge of Scripture into just a few short comments and give them to you. Because I think people have such a twisted view of it, and if they would really dig into it, it is really a truly amazing thing. But thinking of this, these goodbyes, whether they're just something simple like a YouTuber, or whether they're a family member that's moved on and actually is goodbye. I think that I can, to some degree, condense what the Bible's message is God saying, I love you, and I never want to say goodbye to you. And instead of saying goodbye, he wants to say, well done, enter in. Everything in us, I think, that longs for connection and normalcy and permanence is our soul longing for the things of God. So the best way that we can have that permanence is obeying the gospel, loving God, and loving our neighbor. So God bless you. I just wanted to hop on here one more time. Don't know what I'm going to do with this channel, but I do plan on starting a channel solely for Bible studies, and we'll go from there. So I know I left you hanging for a couple years. But if you're in the kingdom, we never have to say goodbye. See you later.